to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today's reading will be a little bit slow as I'm just coming over a cold this time, so I'm going to try my best to keep up with you guys, but I might be a little bit slow because it's a bit hard to breathe. Now today we have the animal. This is the beast, the wild one, the she-wolf. It states that we are mammals. The hair on our chest and between our legs reminds us so. We try hard to deny our unrefined, animalistic nature, yet through this archetype, we tap into power and direction, activating the animal within, which means reawakening our relationship to nature in the most broad and embodied sense. Drinking from waterfalls, roaring at the moon, opening eyes underwater, eating berries from the vine. The life force of our planet begs us to set down the devices, the constraints, and the social constructs, and remember the warm blood that pulses through our veins. The animal longs for breath, food, procreation, and physicality. It wants soil under our nails and starlight on our skin. If this all sounds terribly unsophisticated to you, take note that it is said that when the great Buddha became enlightened, he roared like a great lion. Now, when this card is upright, it is vital, it is elemental, alive, and they tend to dance. But in reverse, it can be savage, pent up, emotional, and lashing out. I actually think that's kind of interesting. If you're new to my channel, I'm actually very into neuroscience and the way that the brain works. And ironically, aggression actually activates the animalistic portion of our brain. That's what sends us into fight or flight. It's like a survival mode state. That is the animalistic portion of our brain that lights up. And aggression is what clicks that on, although other things do as well. Very interesting. Now, the book does state that in order to go deeper on this, you should read Mary Oliver's Wild Geese, which I have for you today. And that states that you do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I'll tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. It's actually one of my favorite poems because it states you do not have to be good, and I really appreciate that. As someone who was raised Catholic, where it's very much the concept that we are all wicked, you know, it kind of makes me feel nice that I don't have to be good. That poem is very refreshing for me. I love Mary Oliver. Any of her out loud readings have been wonderful to watch and witness. So, to move forward with this, I feel like the first thing we should do is get an animal spirit card. Let's go ahead and find out what's going on with my collective with the animal. Let's look at the application of this card, how it could apply. I have just one card play spirit from my animal spirit deck. Just one. Alrighty, that was pretty quick there. Oh, we have the fire ant coming out, and we also have the owl, ironically. I love that. A little bit of a predator-prey dynamic going on here. Interesting. Let's go ahead and get into these. I actually want to pull from my spirit animal guidebook. Now, if I remember correctly, the owl is about clairvoyance. This is an air sign, so it's going to be Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. And the fire ant here, I think that's aggression, rigid thinking, following orders, if I'm correct. And that's a fire sign. That's going to be Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries coming out. Beautiful cards. Surprised we got an insect and an owl. Well, an insect and a bird. Interesting. I do want to go ahead and kick off with Let's start with the fire ant. Yeah, okay, it is aggression, rigid thinking, and following orders. Fire ant energy flares up without us noticing. It's the force that attracts us to people and situations that feed our imbalances rather than those that counter them. Gossiping and blaming are a few indicators that misaligned fire ant energy is at play. You may also find yourself stewing on a person or a situation, only making things worse. How can you break free from the drama and cool down? Fire ants are surprisingly sensitive. Don't pretend that the heat isn't getting to you. Yeah, it's that it argues excessive heat and gossiping. Maybe a walk at night would help you at this time. This fire ant energy actually really reminds me of what I was talking about with the animal, where it's like aggression, because we did have aggression being highlighted here, where aggression highlights the animalistic portion of our brain, or like the primordial portion of our brain. Am I using that correctly? I'm not sure. I might not be. I know that there's a specific name for it. I had done some research on it. Yeah, okay, perfect. It is primordial. Sorry, I just like using the wrong words sometimes. But yeah, that does get highlighted. So you might be dealing with a person or a situation where you might be almost regressing or reverting into like past behavior that you've kind of grown out of, but this person triggers it in you. So let's go ahead and look at the owl to get some clear information on what's going on here. Now, the owl is abundant, clairvoyant, and it knows of treasures. The owl is a mysterious and otherworldly creature found in folklore from east to west. The white owl in this particular deck is the companion of the goddess Lakshmi and represents wealth, beauty, and good fortune. When the owl card appears, it's an omen that a boon or a treasure is on the way, either in spiritual or material form. With owl wisdom on your side, you'll see and know exactly what to do with this boon, how it can further serve your dharma and bring abundance to the world. Trust that the wellspring of treasures is infinite. It is generous, trusting, and secure, or there are scarcity issues and money quarrels. Okay, very interesting. I want to grab one card from my chakra oracle deck before I get to yapping and rambling here. Completion, exactly what I thought. Okay. We have wisdom being highlighted at the back of the deck here. I want to grab some situations cards, but while I'm doing that, I very much get the sense that this is about a person or situation that is triggering you. Yeah, roller coaster, highest high, adrenaline rush. Yeah, it's like an up and down. This might be someone within your family or someone that you considered family. This might be like a toxic family tie with family being highlighted here. I feel like this person's irritating, like agitating to deal with, because I've been getting agitated with this reading the entire time. We have lockdown, mental prison, and confined. Okay, interesting. In the back of the deck, I have meeting in reverse. I feel like you don't want to see this person again because they stress you out. Interesting. And then because we have completion here, I want to grab a quick spirit message as well. Oh, we have two. We have respect and a message of love coming out. 26 and 34. Interesting. Yeah, on the back of the deck, I have number 9 with anger. Yeah, I feel like this person's irritating. I feel like they get under your skin. Maybe that's their intention. Maybe the motivation of the things that they do is corrupt or malevolent. Like my younger sibling, I have a brother. He's little. He's got his issues. And that's something that he'll do. He'll like intentionally try to provoke me or agitate me in order to make me look like the bad guy when I lash out. So this actually kind of makes me feel like this is something that you're dealing with. And you might be wondering why you have to deal with someone like this when you've kind of grown past this, when you've already kind of dealt with, like, when you were doing all the right behaviors, why do you have to deal with someone who is so unevolved, right? That might be the concern here. That might be why you feel locked down. You might be going over it over and over and over and over again in your own head of like, well, why do I have to deal with it? Why? Like, why me? You know, how come they don't ever have to grow? And this actually reminds me of a different poem, of a different quote. I might have it actually on my Instagram. But it highlights that, someone else, it is about recognizing that this person is their own demon, right? That they are their own worst enemy. That any kind of loss, any kind of agitation that they put you through, it is nothing in comparison to the lack that they consistently go through. Let me see if I can find it really quickly for you. Interesting. I may not be able to find it, but that's okay if I don't. I do have a different quote here that I would love to share, actually. Yes, here it is. It says, I forgive people because I realize that they are their own real demons. Like, genuinely, you are your own worst enemy, and you're going to destroy yourself trying to destroy me. Even if I take a loss, low points are a trampoline for me. However, you, on the other hand, are doomed. I will forgive you only to free me. And that, I think, is the lesson that you are learning in this situation here, is that it's important. Yes, you're right. This person does stress you out. Yes, they do put you in this mental lockdown. You might be wondering why you're targeted by this person, why they trigger this almost regressed or animalistic primordial version of you that is, like, sensitive and wants to attack because it feels like it is being attacked, even though you know that if this was anybody else, if this was any other situation, this is not how you would feel comfortable dealing with it. But I feel like you've been pushed to your wits' end, so you might be acting out of that, out of the fact that, like, there really is no other way to deal with someone like this. There is no other way to deal with malevolence. In order for nonviolence to work, your opponent must have a conscience. And I feel as if, you're reaching a point where you're recognizing that this person doesn't really care how their behavior affects you. And more importantly, I feel like you're recognizing that I feel like you haven't really reached the point where you recognize that you have to forgive in order to help yourself in this situation. I feel like that's going to be the real completion, is to just walk away from your own anger in this situation. Let's go ahead and get into some tarot and dive deeper into the application of the animal. Alrighty, I'm going to kick off with these cards really quickly. Let's get some more information about my animal pile's situation. Yeah, we've got paranoia coming out with my Nine of Swords in reverse. Paranoia, anxiety, stress over someone who's childish, who's immature, with my Six of Cups here. Yeah, we have my Five of Wands. That's going to be inner conflict. In a different deck that I have, it shows just one man fighting four other versions of himself. Yeah, I feel like you are fighting with yourself. You're paranoid because you're like, why do I have to deal with this? Why do I have to cope with this person, with this situation? Like, why is it always me who has to be the solution here? Why do I have to accommodate this person's bad behavior in order for them to continue acting poorly? And instead of doing that, I feel like you're really reaching a point where you're ready to lash out. You're hitting that reversed version of the animal archetype, or even like that fire ant energy. But I feel like there is a great treasure to be learned here. There's a beautiful lesson to be learned here, number one. But I also feel as if you will be rewarded for going through this. We have my, Nine of Wands here. That's an adversary. That's an opponent. Yeah, you feel like you're at a crossroads with this person. Like, you have to choose whether to go, like, right or left. And with this, I'm feeling almost as if you feel like there's only one way to deal with this person. And not to get all religious, but I am super religious. So if you're part of my collective, you are going to have to deal with that one way or another. But there is something that I think Padre Pio says. It might not be him. It might be a different, it might be a bishop, actually. He states that there are only two ways that things are allowed to happen to you in life. Either it's God's will, or God has allowed it. There is no third option. And so I feel like that's, you're in a questioning stage right now where you're like, why why do I have to go through this? Why do I have to deal with this person? Why are they always targeting me? Why do I always have to be the bigger person? You know, why do I have to, you know, be the person who takes the high road in this situation? Why can't I act like them? Why can't I be the adversary? Why can't I be the opponent? You know, you're in a questioning stage, and it's okay. That's where a lot of this mental conflict is. But I feel like it's not really conflict as much as it is like you're analyzing and you're working through this, you're progressing through this in order to like evolve from dealing with people like this. But I feel like this is important. I feel like you were placed into this situation because I'm seeing so much orange here. So much orange with like the slight aura of red and then all that paranoia. I feel like you were placed into this situation because you were the only person who could see what to do. You are the only person who has the solution, and that's why you're constantly being forced to be the solution in the situation, even though you don't want to be. And this brings me back to my brother. Like my brother, he again is like very malevolent in his intent oftentimes. Like he does things intentionally to agitate me or get on my nerves. And he does this to try to like make me make a fool of myself. And it has worked at times, I will admit that. But the times that it has worked, it has backfired on him immensely. You know, he will pick on me and I will say something that is so structurally damning that it shakes him to his very core and it changes who he is moving forward from then on. Like it changes his entire experience. Like a couple years ago, he had dropped out of high school and he was basically doing nothing with his life. And he was really hurting our father in the midst of that. And I remember we were arguing about something and he had threatened me. And I was like, see, you're so dumb, you couldn't even finish high school. And that was, for him, like, I know it was one sentence said in anger, but for him it was like so structurally shaking that immediately after following this argument, he tried to figure out how to get his GED. And then he graduated within 3 months after that. And then he went on to a trade school off my recommendation, postponing that. So I do feel like, you know, you were put in this situation because you're the solution. You're the only one who could see the way out. You're the only one who could lead in the situation, even if you have to do that through aggression, you know? I feel like you might not realize the leadership role that you actually play in this situation, even if you didn't choose to be in that leadership role, even if that's a painful role for you to be in. Because trust me, I didn't want to argue with my brother. I didn't want to call him stupid, even though he was at the time. But I had to, you know, that was my role. I had to play that part. That's what got him back to school. That's what got him to graduate. Now, did I ever get a thank you for that? No. In fact, he did it mostly out of spite. But it worked regardless, you know? And that was kind of the whole point, is I was the only person who could have gotten him into that because all of my family members were enabling his, like, lack of ambition, lack of motivation, this almost mooching behavior that he had at the time, where it was like he could just do nothing all day long and everyone else will just coddle him and take care of him. But I was not having that. I was not having a single second of that. Nope, I have higher expectations for you, actually. And and I remember telling him at that moment, I was like, you know, you're too dumb to even like graduate high school. Isn't that embarrassing? And I think that's what clicked for him, is I was like, aren't you embarrassed to be this old and not be doing anything with yourself, you know? Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, I'm very here for this. Yes. Okay, I'm taking all of these. Okay, so we had the Six of Wands, we had the World, and then I had my Seven of Swords come out. Beautiful, beautiful energy. I know the Seven of Swords is a bit scary. I'm going to go ahead and move these all to the side so this can all fit, but this is about to turn into a very beautiful message. I do feel like there's a gorgeous victory here that is going to really change your world and the other person's world as well. Once you recognize your power, I think that's kind of it as well, is I think that you need to recognize that like you have a lot more power in this situation than you think you do. I think this is going to change very quickly. I think things are changing incredibly quickly here. Yeah, you're about to get a message about how things are changing, about how you don't have to be committed to this situation because it's failing. Yeah, someone made a commitment here and it's failing. I feel like you're getting out of this like unharmonious situation very quickly. I feel like you're about to get a message. If you're like let's say that you are living with family, because I've been bringing up my brother a lot. If you are living with family at this time, I feel like there is a big message here about you getting approved to like move out, or maybe it is go to college. Like maybe you're waiting on an approval letter from school, because at the time that I'm posting this, it should be just about, I think, summer. So maybe you're just about to like move out to a university or a dorm. Yeah. And then I also have, oh, how do we want this to? Okay, we are taking it up right. Perfect. So I've got my Knight of Cups as well. Wow, 2 knights. That's a very fast moving energy. I feel like it's going to be a very emotional time. This feels like almost tumultuous. Usually I take my Knight of Cups as like a knight of, like a white knight type of energy, you know, knight in shining armor type of energy, like a savior energy. But with Temperance here, it feels like it's been a long time coming. Yeah, I feel like this person has had you acting out of character, because with my Knight of Pentacles, I usually, oh, so sorry about that. With my Knight of Pentacles, I usually associate this with money, but I'm actually going to associate this more with like value, with like self-worth, self-value in this situation, because I feel like this person has you acting out of character in order to cope with the situation. That might be like a betrayal of self that's leading into this Empress energy. Yeah, you might feel like you've been bound and gagged for a long period of time here because you've been treated poorly. And I see you changing that. I see you putting your foot down. Yeah, I feel like that aggression's coming out for a good reason. I feel like they're going to trigger this, like maybe it is going to trigger this like fight or flight energy in you. And I don't see you backing down at all. You might, I feel like you'll look back on this, or you might be afraid that this is betraying your own values. You know, it's betraying your own morals. You know, like for me, one thing that I very much advocate for is like, I don't think that you should yell at people. I don't think you need to be like cruel to people when you're upset with them. You know, but when I fight with my brother, that's a whole different playing field, because he does, you know, he knows how to get right under my skin. With most other people, I can be very polite with my anger, and I actually take a lot of pride in that. That is something that, you know, it's a skill that I have developed over many years. But with my sibling, that goes completely out the window, because I know that that kind of anger doesn't actually work with them. I know that if anything, that's what other people do, and it enables them to continue with bad behavior. And so you might be looking at this and going, well, you know, if I act that way, it's a betrayal of self. But I see you just kind of, I'm going to be so honest with you. I see you just kind of like blowing this person out of the water. I see you like kind of kicking their ass, but it's more like mental, you know? I feel like you're going to give them an observation, or you're going to give them this perception that they are unable to forget, and then you're just going to leave. I see you just walking away and changing your own life because you feel hurt and betrayed in this situation, that you even had to act like that. I see things changing for you very quickly as well. This might be like, this could be like a parental dynamic too, like leaving the nest. Like I have a friend who has a very narcissistic sibling, and their parent constantly allows it. We actually have very similar situations. The only difference is that my parent doesn't entirely enable. You know, my parent knows how to pick sides, but it's not always just one-sided, whereas hers is very one-sided. And I feel like this could be a similar energy, where it's like you might feel like there's a golden child and then a scapegoat, and you might feel like the scapegoat in your family. That might be the dynamic, like how it is in a narcissistic family dynamic. And I see you getting out of this, getting away from this. I see a beautiful victory on the horizon for you. Alrighty. I actually want to go ahead and get into some charms here. Alrighty, to kick off the charm section, I want to grab a song from my music deck here. Can I just get one song, please, Spirit? Well, one or two. I'm not too picky. Oh, here we go. Here we have Black Sheep by Metric, Misunderstood or Outcast. Yeah, you might be the scapegoat in a situation, because you got that sheep coming up. Black sheep, come home. Send you my love on a wire. Everyone pulls away from you, but I feel like you're pulling away from everyone else. I feel like you might be in a situation where there's a lot of enabling of bad behavior from another person, maybe someone who targets you a lot. And so I do see you pulling away from this unhealthy dynamic, walking away from it. Yeah, then I also have Creep by Radiohead. Look, Black Sheep is coming up again. Isn't that funny? Yeah, you might feel like, I know this is going to sound so funny. you might feel like you're crazy dealing with this situation. And that's something that, my sibling made me go through a lot, is like, my parent is very like exhausted, right? So they don't really do anything in the situation. They just kind of like calm everyone down, and then nothing ever changes. So in my situation, it was very aggravating because like I would have a very reasonable request. I'd be like, hey, can you turn your music down? And my sibling would freak out for like the next 40 minutes about how I'm harassing them, and I'm a psycho, and I'm crazy, and I'm hurting them, and they need to get a restraining order against me. And it's very it's a very extreme behavior that they do out of like deep mental illness, if I'm being honest with you. Because I'm very no holds back on my own channel. They do it out of like severe mental illness, and I get that, but like in a civilized society, I'm able to make a reasonable request without it turning into like a 40-minute long argument, and it would make me feel crazy because my parent would come home and I would like tell them, I'd be like, dude, all I did was ask them to turn their music down, and they threatened to punch me to death because I was being disrespectful and I guess harassing them. And my parent would be like, well, I don't know who's wrong in this situation. And I'd be like, this is insane. You guys make me feel crazy, actually, because there's no way that in in any situation, it is insane to act like that. It is not healthy. It's not normal. It's not acceptable. It's not tolerable to not be able to hear one sentence, one very reasonable request, and then to act like that. No one else would ever tolerate this behavior, but because our parent is very exhausted, of course it gets enabled and tolerated. So that might be what you're kind of dealing with, is where it's like I had a reasonable request and I got treated like absolute dog shit about it, and then when I voiced my complaints, it was treated as if I was the one that was being unreasonable, even though I wasn't. So you might feel a bit like crazy in this situation. You might feel like you're dealing with people who are crazy. And let me tell you, like that is a very exhausting scenario to be in. I know because I've been there, and it's extremely exhausting and nerve-wracking, because I've even had points in time where like I will call my aunt and be like, can you please tell me that like I'm not insane? Like, because I feel crazy that just having like asking them to turn their music down was too unreasonable of a request. Like, can you please reassure me that like I'm not harassing them by asking them that? It was a very ridiculous situation. My aunt would always be like, oh my gosh, like this is insane. They are unstable. They need to get help. And I'd be like, I know. Trust me, I'm well aware. But it's like, thank you so much for listening to me and being there to tell me, like, actually, you are sane. What you did was okay, and it was reasonable, and it was normal. They are the one who blew it out of proportion. They're the one who, like, triggered you into this state of feeling like you have to, like, fight or flight, into feeling like what you asked for was unreasonable or was wrong. And I'm very, very grateful and thankful to have that aunt who was always there to reassure me that, like, oh my gosh, no, what you asked for was normal. Maybe you need someone like that in your life, or maybe you have a support system where you talk to them and they're just like appalled. They're just like, no, like this, what you did is completely normal. And if you need reassurance, like if you don't have someone like that in your life, let me be the reassurance to tell you, like, what you're asking for, the way that you're acting, it's normal. You have a good head on you. I can feel that from your energy. This person is nutty. We have fire sign energy coming back out with this 57 Sagittarius. We had that fire sign energy come out with that fire ant. Yeah, Sagittariuses are often like caged birds too. So I do see you kind of getting your freedom, leaving the nest. I've brought that up a couple times. And then I have my wolf totem. Beware of letting your wilder instincts spin out of control. Yeah, I feel like this person might get you to act out of character at times. But I feel almost as if, in the tarot I mentioned that I have a friend who's in a very similar situation, but the way that our parent deals with the situation is very different. So it results in a different outcome. And with that person, with that friend, she actually tends to be like, she will voice up her issue immediately, but then she's shot down very hard. So she tends to be very quiet, right? And so that friend, she wants to like leave a letter, essentially, like calling that parent out for all their behaviors when she does leave the home. eventually. Whereas with me, you know, when I left my home, I was very no contact. Like, I'm never going to speak to you people again because I don't need to vocalize my issues anymore. I already have. And I felt very fulfilled in that. So I do feel as if whatever the normal way that you deal with the situations with this person, I do feel as if you will do something that is very like soul fulfilling for yourself as like a closure or a release to get out of this situation. It's that completion energy. Yeah, and then I have my hair. Beautiful. It's an auspicious time for new beginnings. I feel like you're getting out, and you're getting away. That's a big thing here. I feel like you're protected, babe. If you needed to know that, you are protected in this new beginning. You're going to be able to leave without, you know, like a scratch on you is what I'm hearing. Let's get some self-care for you because this can be an absolutely exhausting thing to tolerate and to deal with. Lord knows that I know. I've been through this. It actually kind of makes me laugh because sometimes I feel like I only went through those situations in order to do reads about them so I can relate and understand. Yeah, we have family, number 23. I do feel like family, maybe you need to reach out to a family member that you trust and that you care for and kind of like record the situation through them. Like dealing with my younger sibling, one thing that I would do is I would like reach out to my grandfather to vent to him about it because he knew more of our interpersonal family situations. So I felt comfortable being like, oh my goodness, like, is this not crazy? And he'd be like, yeah, that little effer needs to get it together. He needs to get a grip. Like, he's acting crazy. And that was always really nice, but it didn't make me feel sane. You know, it just made me feel safe, which was very nice. So I do feel as if maybe there is some family member that you need to like reach out to for some support or for some guidance in the situation. We also have number 6, build a strength. And I actually really want to highlight this. I feel like you're a lot smarter than this person. I know that's so weird to say, but I feel like you're a lot smarter than the person that you're dealing with. And I feel like if you just put your mind to it a little bit, you'd be able to figure out a way out of this situation very quickly. You also connect with your ancestors on the back of the deck. Yeah, there's that coming up again. Maybe you need to ask your ancestors for assistance. Maybe they've been watching your situation and they know that it's wrong. Like, they know that you're being treated incorrectly, that you're being treated like a scapegoat. Maybe asking for help will help you, like, speed up this process. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. I'm actually going to go ahead with some affirmations here. Ooh. Today I'm confident. Today I am who I am, and I am capable of doing anything that I put my mind to. Beautiful. Let's get one more. We have today I am free of drama. Today I will let go of people that do not support me and only surround myself with positive people. Yeah, I feel like you're dealing with, no offense, I feel like you're dealing with people who enable bad behavior. I remember with my sibling, I had told them, like, one day someone's gonna punch you for acting like this, and they freaked out on me for saying that. They were like, you're threatening me, and I was like, I'm not. Just because, like, that's the natural consequence of this behavior in society. Like, the only reason that it's tolerated here is because no one in this household would harm you, but that's not, like, the way that the world works, you know? Like, you're gonna get punched if no one can ask you, like, something reasonable, you know? Or at the very least, like for example, if I go to a gym and I just start, like, blaring my music, I'm gonna be asked to either turn it down or to leave. And if I start screaming at the work staff, then they're gonna ban me from the gym. Like, that's a natural consequence in society. But, like, my sibling would get banned because they don't have, like, they're enabled to act like that at home, so they feel like it's acceptable behavior, and they feel like everyone else should just tolerate it. And there was something that I had yelled at my sibling about this, where it was like, you look at me and you go, no. It was about I've talked about this on my channel before, where it was like food insecurity, where like my sibling had eaten my food and I was like, hey, what the heck? And they were like, you need to write your name on it. And I was like, then how come, like, no, let's do the double standard then. How come you don't only eat food with your name written on it then? Let's try that. So that way my food stops getting eaten. You only eat stuff with your name written on it. but they couldn't handle that, like, double standard, that they'd have to follow the rule that they've been putting on everyone else, because it was something that had been an issue with multiple people. And yeah, I feel like you're smart enough to turn this, like, whatever they say to you, if you thought about it for a second, you could turn it around on them like that. And what I had said to them in that situation was, you look at me and you go, no, you need to accommodate me so I can keep treating you poorly. And I'm not okay with that. I'm not going to accommodate you so you can treat me like shit. No, absolutely not. You need to stop treating me like shit, And they could not understand that. Because to them, they were like, wow, why isn't this person enabling me to treat them poorly? And it was because everybody else in our family was like, oh yeah, he is going to eat my food, so I have to write my name on it. But the truth of that situation is, even if I wrote my name on it, he would still eat my food. So that was actually not a solution. There was never a real solution to the situation. There was always just this scapegoat energy of pushing the blame, the accountability, the responsibility to grow onto someone else so he didn't have to do it. Very annoying, by the way. Very, very annoying behavior to tolerate. We have bronzite. The main power of this stone is restoring harmony, peace, and bringing balance to your spiritual being. This helps wash away the past and motivates you to start planning a bright future. Bronzite breaks down the physics static, stopping you from moving on. I do feel like you're moving on from this situation. I feel like you might go over it in your head over and over again, and I get it. The truth of the situation of why you keep going over it in your head is because it doesn't make any sense, right? And so you go over it and over and over it, trying to make it make sense because it's so insane. And this is something that I've done a lot, where it's like, I will like go over it and over and over it. And I'm like, why don't I understand? Why don't I get it? Why? But the truth is that it makes no freaking sense. And that's why I don't get it, because it doesn't make any sense, because I would actually have to be a lot dumber for it to make sense to me, But unfortunately, I'm smart enough to see that there's an issue here. And that's the difference in skill between me and my sibling, is I'm smart enough to be able to plot, to look at the loopholes in the situation, to look at the issue in the situation and confront it head on, whereas they're not able to do that. Yeah, I feel like you're a lot smarter than this person, but I feel like you're also moving on and away from them. I feel like you need to be around people who are sane, who are rational, who are reasonable, who are going to who are going to look at you. When you ask them to turn down their music, they're going to turn down their music. People who are not going to use the 5-finger discount and eat your food, or maybe use your clothes, or, take your stuff, things like that. Because I feel like there's almost this nagging dynamic here, where it's you might feel like it's not even nagging, it's almost like this, because I'm seeing someone huddling, holding stuff in their arms, huddling over it, they're hiding it. It's like you have to preserve your own resources and you're fearful of them being taken from you. And I feel like you're walking away from this kind of energy, you're walking into something that's a lot more secure, a lot more stable for you, that doesn't involve you constantly having to protect or survive. Yeah, you don't have to fight anymore. We have Angelite on the back of the deck. Acceptance of situations that can't be changed is extremely difficult. It may be a death or a change in a relationship. Angelite, when used with meditation, helps connect to the true meaning of acceptance. All things happen for a reason, and only the universe knows why. This actually brings me back to the point that I made in the Oracle, where it's things only happen for one or two reasons. Either it's God's will or God allows it. And I feel like in this situation, it was God's will. He was using you to try to teach this person, because I feel like no one else was smart enough to see the loopholes or to get through to this person. Yeah, because I'm seeing someone tap someone else's forehead. Not even tap, knock on it like it's a door, because they're just, and I'm getting the sense they're so dense that it's like you can hear a knocking sound. That sounds so mean. I'm so sorry. On the back of the deck, I have Rhyolite. This ancient stone can induce very deep and introspective meditations. It can help you explore your past lives. Gaining strength and self-esteem from the stone allows you to look back with an understanding and acceptance of the choices that you have made. Yeah, I feel like you'll look back at the situation and go, okay, I know exactly how I never want to behave again. I know exactly the type of person that I will never tolerate again now that I've been able to leave this situation. Now I know the red flags for this type of person. Now I know what kind of drama, I'm not willing to accept or tolerate. That's a big thing, that I've talked about on my channel a lot with this drama card coming out. Is like, I have the reason that my sibling is enabled and why they freak out at the slightest amount of confrontation or perceived conflict is actually because of our biological mother. She's the type of person where, like, she really needs attention, but the only way she gets attention is through drama. So she thinks she needs the drama, so she makes the drama to get the attention, but in order to get the attention, she needs drama, so she creates the drama to get the attention. And it's this horrible, like, self-fulfilling loop that kind of drives everyone away from her. And my sibling has taken this lesson and kind of driven it down a step further, where, like, for them, they will make up issues in their own head and then project that onto the people that they feel like they have wronged in order to escape the blame for how they've wronged other people. So a good example of this is, like, my sibling freaked out on one of my friends and, like, screamed at them and kicked them out one weekend. And then for, like, the next 3 weeks, they would leave their own bedroom door open and then freak out on me for going into their room, even though I never went into their room. They had just left the door open, but they needed to, like, create that in their own head. They needed, that issue. They needed a way to blame me for wronging them in order to escape the truth, which was that they had wronged me, that they had hurt me and they had hurt my friend, but they couldn't take accountability for that. So they needed to find something that they could blame on me so they could push that out of their mind, So for them it was, oh, she's going through my room, even though I definitely was not going through their room. It was, like, a really crazy situation. Let's go ahead and get some charms here. Actually, I want to get a quick angel number here. Ooh, is that Saturn coming out? I think that's Saturn. We'll check in just a second. Okay, we have Saturn, we have Cancer. Ooh, I've got 224 coming out for your angel number, 224. You can go into your browser, type in 224 angel number meaning. That'll be your message from Spirit today. Let me take a look at these, if I can. Here it is. I'm not the best with the symbols. Yeah, this is absolutely Saturn. That's like rules, restrictions. This is what holds you back. Following through on commitments, accountability, responsibilities. I feel like that's being highlighted right now. And I feel like even more it's about, look, Cancers, I love you. I do love you. But I feel like it's about the emotional outbursts as well as the manipulation in the situation that's being highlighted. How someone else might use emotional outbursts to manipulate their way out of responsibility, out of accountability, out of it's like they're doing it to avoid growing up, because it kind of gives almost because I love Cancers, but they're quite a childish energy at times, especially unevolved Cancerian energy. Very manipulative, very childlike. Oh my gosh, Cancer men are some of the worst that I've met about it. They can be very emotionally manipulative to avoid any kind of accountability or responsibility in a situation. I feel like that's what's being really highlighted here. Alrighty, let me grab some charms here now. No, I didn't get too many. We actually got a lot of... Sorry about that, guys. I didn't mean to hit you. We actually got a lot of descriptions and initials here. Okay. Per. Oh, sorry. You'll get it in just a second. Okay, I have Taurus being highlighted. We have a lot of initials, which we'll get into in just a second. Looks like it says, I miss you. Yeah, I feel like you're going to leave this situation, and then the truth is going to come to light about how this person has been the problem the whole time. And I feel like the family or like your friends will come back around and be like, well, I miss you. Like, we were wrong to blame you for the situation or blame you for the issues in the situation. Someone here might have black hair. Black hair. Someone might be an atheist, or they might have, like, you might not be religious. It's okay. I got some people in my collective that are atheists. I still love you guys. It says work. Yeah. This person might be unemployed. Or they might, like, maybe you just got a new job or you got a better job. I'm also hearing Britney Spears, like, work, bitch, where it's like, you want a Bugatti, you want a Maserati, you want to move away from this person, you better work, bitch. Maybe you've been putting in the work, the spiritual work, to grow past this. Yeah, because I feel like someone's a baby here, because I'm seeing this and all I can think of is, like, a diaper pen. I feel like someone's a huge baby in this situation. I feel like they're trying to pin something on you as well. You know how I said earlier, like, my sibling will, like, try to provoke me? In order to, like, make me look like the bad guy, even though it's, like, their own malevolent intent. Yeah, I feel like they're trying to pin something on you or pin some type of behavior on you. I have my catfish coming out here. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like they try to cover up their behavior or they lie. Like, they might really lie about, like, what they do. Maybe to, like, other people. Like, they flip the situation around to make you look like the bad guy. I have Paris. This is the Eiffel Tower. So maybe Paris is important here, or France. Or I think there's one in Las Vegas as well. I think there's a mini one. It might also be Reno, Nevada. So maybe Nevada, or is it Las Vegas in Nevada? Interesting. I am getting kind of like a like a revolt or like a rebellion type of energy here. Yeah. Interesting. Let's get into these initials here. I have H, so Harry, Henriette, Harold. I'm hearing Hussy. That's weird. Hull. Alright, that's all I got. Sorry, I'm not the best with initials, but I'm trying. I got W, so Will, William, Wilson, Winston, Winona, Wyatt, Wilma. I have O, Oscar. That's all I got. Sorry, guys. M, Mary, Mitchell, Michael. Monica, Mariah, Macy. I have T, Tim, Timothy, Tom, Thomas, Teresa, Terry, Terrence, Tara, Tyler, Tiffany, Tessa. We have an X, so Xavier, Xander, Javier. We have an L, Lynn, Liz, Elizabeth, Liza, Lynette, Lacey, Lane, Lana, Lyle. I have a Q, so Queenie. I'm also getting Quiznos. I've never gotten that before. It's funny. Quinn. That's all I got. We actually have two Qs. Maybe you have a lot of questions in the situation. Then I have an A, so Alice, Alex, Alexandra, Alessandra, Alexander, Alejandro, Elena, Angel, Angelica, Anthony. Oh yeah, we would have Anthony or Tony with this T here. Well, that's what I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Make sure to leave a comment, let me know how it resonates, and if you can, let me know what the angel number set down in the comments below, that 224. I would love to know what the message was, as we all tend to get different messages. And I will catch you guys again in the next one. Bye!